Do you think you're going to die? Many people lie awake at night staring at the ceiling, or looking at the increasing number of age spots on the backs of their hands. Feeling a panic similar to when your phone battery drops to 1% and you can't find a charger. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid that with one last breath, all the love and hate of your life, the numbers in your bank account, and your disobedient son will all vanish into nothingness? What if I told you that what you call death is merely a forced upload due to hardware aging? And that every moment of your life's struggles is actually contributing an indelible piece of code to the universe's vast server? Would you feel more relieved or more terrified? Let's talk about the most heartbreaking image first. Imagine an old man or woman sitting in the winter sun, looking at their shadow and thinking, what has my life amounted to? Youth was for adventure, middle age for scheming, and now in old age I suffer from illness. When I take my last breath, will everything just be scattered like dust in the wind? This fear of annihilation is the underlying cause of all human anxiety. But modern science, especially quantum mechanics and information theory, is quietly connecting with Buddhist philosophy from thousands of years ago in a very mysterious way. If our bodies are merely highly sophisticated biological hardware, then where is the entity that directs your actions, makes you cry, and causes you to feel a sudden loneliness in the middle of the night? Is it really stored in that mass of brain tissue that resembles tofu? If you smash your computer, will your game saves truly vanish into thin air? No, they are in the cloud. Buddhism has a term, which sounds quite mystical, called Alaya Vijnana. If you translate it into modern language, it's like an infinitely capacious, never-failing cloud server in the universe. Each of us is essentially a terminal connected to this server. Don't think that if you secretly do something bad or have malicious thoughts, no one will know. Every thought and intention you have is actually like typing commands on a keyboard. These commands are instantly synchronized to that cloud called Alaya Vijnana. This isn't some kind of supernatural judgment, it's the underlying operating logic of the system. So-called karma is actually a logical loop of code. Whatever algorithm you input, the system will give you a corresponding output. There's a particularly famous case involving a neurosurgeon. This guy used to be a staunch materialist, believing that humans were nothing more than a collection of biochemical reactions. However, he fell seriously ill, and his cerebral cortex completely shut down, the hardware essentially powered off. According to conventional wisdom, he should have been completely unconscious at that point. But after he recovered, he wrote a book detailing his experience. He described entering a world that wasn't some kind of underworld or filled with winged angels, but a pure energy field brimming with high-frequency information. There, he underwent a holographic data verification process. What is holographic data verification? It means he instantly re-experienced his entire life. But this wasn't like watching a movie. In a movie, you're the audience, but this experience was a simultaneous, multi-sensory event. Most strikingly, he discovered that when reviewing everything he had done to others, he not only had his own perspective but also simultaneously experienced the perspective of the other person. He had performed surgery to save lives, and in that moment, he felt the overwhelming gratitude and relief of the patients' families. He had also been arrogant and dismissive of his subordinates. And in that moment, he clearly felt the deep humiliation and resentment of those subordinates. This experience was like your data package being compared for consistency with the entire server. If you caused someone pain, that pain data would flow back to you. If you gave someone warmth, that warm feedback would instantly fill your system. At that moment, you realize there's no all-powerful God judging you. The judgment comes from the integrity of your own logic. This is the system harvesting the data of this season, performing the final reckoning and archiving. You might say, isn't this just talking about good deeds? It's far more profound than that. It shows that the fame, fortune, and status we pursue in this life, the luxury cars and mansions, are all redundant garbage. The moment you power down, the system only extracts the core data. The effective energy fluctuations you generated in this world. The size of your house doesn't matter. What matters is whether that house was filled with anxiety and greed, or with peace and tranquility. Because anxiety and greed are inefficient code that leads to system malfunction, while peace and tranquility are high-quality data. This is why it's said that you can't take anything with you, except for your karma. Your life is a compressed file of your logic. Let's bring this perspective back to real life. Many parents, even in their old age, can't let go. They worry about their children's marriages, their grandchildren's grades, and the unresolved issues of family property. You think this is love, but in the algorithm of the Alaya consciousness, you are forcibly invading someone else's database. Everyone has their own database. You are trying to rewrite someone else's new program with your old code, and the result can only be 2 words: system crash. The more you try to control, the higher your system's resource usage, and the faster your hardware, your body, breaks down. Where do many illnesses come from? They come from the accumulation of too much junk cash in your system. The grievances from decades ago, the unfulfilled desires, the fears of the future. These things are like malware on a computer, constantly consuming your energy in the background until they drain your last bit of battery life. Actually, if you could change your mindset and think of yourself as a player on a business trip to Earth, have you ever played a single-player game? You work hard in the game, fighting monsters, leveling up, accumulating a pile of gold coins, and buying a set of powerful equipment. But when you turn off the screen, are those things still there? They're gone now. But the exhilaration you felt from completing the game, or the lessons you learned from failure, these things are etched into your mind and can be carried into the next game. Life is the same. In this life, you're born as an ordinary person, or even someone with a difficult life. This might just be a high difficulty level assigned to you by the system. A test to see if you can navigate through this extreme environment, a test of compassion or awakened consciousness. If, in this level, you only learn to complain, hate, and give up, then your score in this game will be very low. When your hardware fails and your data is uploaded to the Alaya Vijnana server, the system will automatically match you with your next hardware platform based on your saved score and logical tendencies. This is the essence of reincarnation. It's not some supernatural force, but an algorithm, a precise matching based on data quality. If your mind is full of negative thoughts, the system will place you in an environment with extremely limited resources, allowing you to continue practicing how to find abundance in scarcity. If you have cultivated inner perfection, the system might decide you no longer need these low-level levels and will upgrade you to a higher dimension. So, stop dwelling on things you can't take with you. What you should be doing now is clearing your cache every night before bed, just like clearing your phone's memory. Select and permanently delete all the people who angered you and the things that upset you today. Don't let these toxic data packets enter your dreams. And certainly don't let them be written into your underlying architecture. You must constantly remind yourself that you are just a player experiencing this game. The character's suffering and hardships are the character's problems, not yours. When you can step out of this character and observe your life from an observer's perspective, that's administrator mode. What are you practicing in this world of suffering? It's this ability to separate data. When someone is yelling insults at you, you think to yourself, oh, this code is trying to trigger my anger subroutine, but I choose to refuse to respond. At that moment, you are no longer an NPC controlled by the program, but a true programmer. You'll find that when you stop desperately struggling to protect that false self, your life energy becomes incredibly powerful because all your energy is used to generate positive, high-value data. The word altruism sounds grand, but in algorithmic logic, it's incredibly simple. Altruism is uploading positive energy of harmony and love to the universal server. According to the echo effect, these instructions circle around in the cloud and eventually return to you with multiplied energy. You'll find your luck improves, your health gets better, and the people around you become more lovable. Is this some kind of miracle? No, it's simply that you've optimized your algorithmic system, and nature has naturally granted you higher privileges and better resources. Many of us spend our lives building a strong shell around ourselves, thinking that this is the only way to be safe. But you forget that even the hardest shell can't withstand the natural aging of the hardware. True security comes from realizing that you are actually that eternal code, not the shell that will inevitably decay. When you understand the logic of Alaya Vijnana, this cloud-based backup system, death is no longer an end, but a heroic return. You take the rich data accumulated in this life to receive your deserved reward and prepare for the next great adventure. In this world full of fluctuations and uncertainties, we are like lonely boats floating on the sea. But if there is a seabed connecting all life beneath the surface, would you still feel alone? Every hardship you experience, as long as you gain a little wisdom from it, is not in vain, because it has been transformed into eternal, shining gold stored in your cloud account. So next time you feel anxious or powerless, try closing your eyes and connecting to that server called Alaya Vijnana. Ask yourself, are these emotions I'm feeling now worth being permanently backed up? If it's worthwhile, then experience it to the fullest. If it's not, then simply discard it. Your life is a magnificent data journey. Don't let those unnecessary caches ruin your view. Whether your life is brilliant or bleak, you have already contributed a unique perspective to the universe. In this grand drama called life, whether you play a leading or supporting role, as long as you are fully invested and can say to yourself at the moment of your last breath, this journey was worthwhile, this code was interesting, then you are a complete winner. So let's go back to the beginning. If your data packet is about to be verified right now, what would you want to say to the large system receiving your data in the cloud? Or, which piece of code that has caused you so much pain would you want to permanently delete from your memory? Do you feel like you haven't played enough of this game yet? Or are you already eager to see what the next level looks like? Don't rush to answer. Tonight, on the edge of sleep and wakefulness, you will naturally hear that voice from deep within the system. In truth, each of us is a beam of light, temporarily encased in this physical body. The process of returning to the light is far more magnificent than you imagine. Since we are destined to be uploaded, let's use this remaining limited bandwidth to transmit more warmth, more tolerance, and more compassion, creating memories that will make you smile when you look back. After all, the archive of your life will ultimately be signed off by yourself. If you can transform your fear of death into curiosity about a new save file, then you've already completed at least half of your life's journey. The rest is to continue wandering in this mortal world like a seasoned player, with a touch of cynicism and a profound sense of compassion. Don't take anything too seriously. But don't take anything too lightly either, because although all of this is an illusion, the awareness you gain from it is the only true thing in the universe. If we are destined to meet in the cloud, I hope that our data packets will be filled not with regret, but with the clarity that remains after experiencing life's trials. At that moment, we might smile at each other, realizing that the loves and hates of this life were as childish and ridiculous as playing house as children. But it is precisely those childish moments that constitute the most moving notes of our lives. Can you feel that tremor from the depths of your soul? That's not fear, That's your system undergoing a deep restructuring. When you let go of your attachment to annihilation, when you accept your identity as eternal data, you will find that this world suddenly becomes much gentler. The wind is no longer just wind, it is the flow of information. The rain is no longer just rain, it is a baptism of energy. And you are no longer just that humble human being who will grow old, but also an indispensable and most brilliant piece of code in this grand evolutionary process. So, since the show is still going on, and the screen hasn't gone black yet, let's continue writing this code, writing it beautifully, writing it freely. Writing it in a way that allows you to press that confirmation button with peace of mind in that final moment. You will find that when you stop clinging tightly to what you hold in your hands, you will instead possess the entire universe. This logic sounds absurd, right? But the underlying algorithm of the universe is never meant for those who only want to possess. It is a gift for those who dare to let go. Do you dare to let go? Or rather, do you dare to admit that the I that has been dictating things in your mind is actually just a virtual illusion? If you can feel that immense sense of emptiness brought about by the disintegration of the self in that moment, don't be afraid, that is the beginning of your true awakening. In that emptiness, there is no fear, no decay, only endless possibilities shimmering. Who is reading this text? Who is listening to these words? Who is thinking about these questions? If you can find that who, you will also find the server backend that will never shut down. By then, will life and death really matter anymore?